What's going on? Why is it just in the corner? This drives me batshit nuts. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. There we go. That should fix it. We'll see what's going on. We're waiting on everyone to join us. Hello, citizens of Gotham. How are you? What's up, Lawrence? What's up, Andrews? What's up, Mona Carmona? How you doing? Truth to tweet, what's up? Lee should be here any second, ladies and gentlemen. We're tweaking the system. We're getting more things going so we can have more people on the show, making it exciting. Boom. Let's see. Just admitted Lee. Oh, there is Lee. Lee, can you hear me? Let's see. All right. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Well, there's Lee Camp, everybody. We'll get this figured out on a GIF, folks. All right. Still weird over here. Okay, what is going on with that? Why is that happening? All right. Okay. Still nothing. Still nothing. No sound. Why are we getting this in? There we go. Okay. Still can't hear Lee. Your thing, Lee, can you hear me? Nothing either. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is exciting. Let me, I'm going to just bring this over here real quick. It says your mic is not on. What's going on? All right, folks, while we're waiting on Lee Camp to join us back in, we just want to say hello to everybody. Just disconnected. Is this rocket science? We can hear Graham and see Lee. Yeah. The sound is in the super tiny window above Lee's head. Yeah, so I've got my sound as everything's working. Let's bring Lee back in. Just admitted Lee. Still nothing. Lee Camp is connecting the audio. Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
We did it, yes.
All right, so I'm going to put you on, and then, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. You won't be. I'm going to cut my camera but you'll just be able to hear me.
This might be a bad idea, but I'm going to try plugging this in and see what happens.
Yeah.
How about now?
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Let's do that. Let's move this here.
If you can take a little off the top and make my ears smaller, that would help.
I am growing. I just shut my camera off because I don't want you to see this, Lee. But my hair is becoming an insane afro for a gentleman to have.
Well, and out in LA, I think I mentioned this on the last live stream. You haven't been able to get your anal bleaching done, right?
That's the toughest part about the quarantine is there are some online anal bleaching classes that I'm taking, but
it takes a lot of flexibility. It really does.
To do a Zoom chat about anal bleaching, Lee, is really, I mean, thank God I do the yoga because I can really get that camera, you know what I mean? It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a rare yoga pose, but they do it sometimes in the classes.
It is the anal bleaching warrior 2. I think is
just don't do the anal bleaching child's pose.
Oh, that is really horrible. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. How's everything with you in DC? Just people stacking up body bags in front of the White House, I saw?
I'm not actually sure anyone's here. I don't think the government's actually running. I think they do it with green screen and they pretend there's something going on, but I don't actually see anything. I mean, downtown's dead. There's nobody there. And, I mean, honestly, I think probably we'd all be safer if the federal government was just stopped. But
yes. In all honesty, they probably all should just be home with 2 or 3 freezers full of ice cream and kind of let us take it back over.
Yeah. Every time, I mean, this is what I used to say about weekends, but now I've gotten to say it about the past 2 months. Every time humanity is on like a break, meaning like the weekends, a lot of things go much better. There's less pollution. There's less war on weekends. So I think we should just do the weekends all the time, which recently we have
been. Yes. All right, what's up, everybody? Mona, Sarah, Nicholas, Cat B. Hello, everybody. All right. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. Hit the like button. I'm here with very special guest, Lee Camp. And Lee, I wanted to talk to you because you, along with Aaron Mate, have been very much on the forefront of everything going on with Russiagate. And now there's even more information that came out to say that it's complete bullshit.
It's all slowly collapsed, and I think they wanted it. If it's going to collapse, they wanted it to be slow so people stop paying attention.
Right.
But I think the way I described it the other day was it's like, when they do construction, but the facade of the building is old, so they want to keep that, and they've already gutted out everything else, and it's just the front face of the building still there. That was what remained of Russiagate. And then just like the past 2 weeks, we've just seen that facade go, it's just the last remaining little bit that they were holding on to. It's been so fucking pathetic to see. And of course, your corporate media won't even mention it. But the thing that happened a few weeks ago, we'll get up to the latest thing, but the thing that happened several weeks ago was that Mueller, along with the Justice Department, agreed to basically drop almost all of the remaining indictments against the Russian clickbait farm that they had because they realized they couldn't prove anything. And so they had those, it was 14 indictments. Several of them were of people who weren't even working at the clickbait farm during the time period of the election. And they realized that they couldn't actually prove that those people had any connection to the Russian government or had swayed the election at all or really had wanted to sway the election. So they quietly dropped the indictments as on that clickbait farm.
Well, isn't it though? I mean, when the head of Google last year, whatever it was, said to Congress that he found $4,700 in ads on Google. I mean, if that wasn't damning evidence that they spent $4,700 on ads, I don't know. I mean, if that's not a smoking gun, Lee, I don't know.
By the way, for those who have never tried using Facebook ads, $4,700 will get you about 4 clicks. All right, it'll get you one grandma in Poughkeepsie is going to see that ad for $4,700.
I've tried to use Facebook ads to sell tickets on the road. It never works. But we're all supposed to believe that $4,700 on Google and $100,000 on Facebook, that swung the election. So Hillary was running around with a mere $1.5 billion in change she found under her couch, but this avalanche of $104,000 just crushed it.
Yeah, and if anyone's looked at those ads, one is just Satan arm wrestling with Jesus. Another one is literally Bernie Sanders, a drawn image of Bernie Sanders in a banana hammock.
That's what made me change my vote, though, Lee. I got to be honest with you. It was Bernie the banana. I was all set to vote for Hillary, and then I saw that banana hammock one, and I was like, "Wow, this is nuts! I'm going to vote for Jill Stein."
Well, I saw that image, and I was like, "Why? How are they in my dreams? Why is Facebook in my dreams? This is not right."
That's literally my weekend at Bernie's fantasy. Come on now, who's with me, folks? So there was that from a couple weeks ago, but more recently, and you said you did a video on this, and I watched it talking about CrowdStrike, which basically CrowdStrike said, we have no evidence.
Yeah. So for those who have not been following the play-by-play of the intricate workings of the Russiagate shenanigans, so Mueller's report basically showed there was no collusion between Trump and that, but it did seem to claim. It said it appears Russia hacked the DNC and released these DNC emails via WikiLeaks. So it did seem to claim that at least Russia had done that. So you figure, okay, well, there may not have been collusion. Maybe Trump had nothing to do with it. But at least we know that Russia hacked the DNC or whatever. But it turns out that, and here's the part we knew before last week, that the DNC, they destroyed the servers. So these computer servers were hacked. So these servers are the scene of a crime, a major crime, an international crime, are these DNC computer servers. Donna Brazil said on television multiple times, and she was the acting head after Debbie Wasserman Schultz stepped down, that of the DNC, that the DNC destroyed the servers. Which, why the fuck would you do that after a crime? Why would you destroy the servers? That's like walking up, you find a dead body that's been beaten and bruised, and you call the cops and go, oh my God, there's been a murder. And then the cops show up and they say, we have to investigate. Where's the body? And you say, I chopped it up and threw it in the river. That's what the DNC did.
But Lee, I do all that all the time. I came across a shootout and there was all these piles of drugs and fingerprints on guns, and I cleaned it up before I called the police. That's what I always do. You're not hiding anything.
Unfortunately, I snorted the fingerprints and flushed the coke, so that was not good. But
just coke all over my nose. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. It just all went away.
But so they destroyed the servers, and they gave a mock-up of the servers to the FBI, whatever that means. I mean, if that doesn't scream guilty. But the reason they wanted to cover this up is because it clearly was not Russia. It was likely a leak from the inside of the DNC. And so they wanted to cover that up. Anyway, they hire a private company, CrowdStrike, which is the only organization, the FBI wasn't even allowed to, the only organization to ever analyze the servers and decide who hacked the DNC is this private company called CrowdStrike. The president at the time, he might still be president, but the president at the time is a man named Sean Henry, who has deep ties to the Democratic Party and also used to be at the FBI. So he's the president of this company. This company then gives their analysis to the FBI, which was partially redacted, why are you allowed to redact your analysis that you give to the FBI? The FBI doesn't have the power to get the actual unredacted papers. But anyway, they give their analysis that says Russia, likely did this, blah, blah, blah. And now we finally see, just this past week, and Aaron Mate at the Gray Zone has done a great job of analyzing these congressional testimony. We see Sean Henry, the president of CrowdStrike's testimony to Congress, and he's asked about this Russian hack multiple times, and each time he says, we have no evidence that Russia exfiltrated data from the servers. Exfiltrated meaning stole data from the servers. We have no evidence that they took any data from the server. That they took, and he keeps being asked about it. And there's at least 3 or 4 times he says we had no concrete evidence. We had no evidence. We had no evidence that Russia exfiltrated data from the servers. And it's like, so you literally are saying there is no evidence that Russia is the one behind these DNC leaks, which is what they were, and not hacks. And also Assange, this also gels with what Assange had said years ago, back when this was going on. He had said that a state actor was not involved in the leak of the DNC emails.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
It's amazing to me that this stuff comes out and people like Aaron Matei and yourself do this like serious research, but then the corporate media just... Nope. And there's the thing I always tell my audience is I always say, whenever there's something they're yelling and screaming about, what are they not talking about? So like the only thing we can talk about now is COVID-19. Okay, it's a serious pandemic, it's for real, but there's about 30 minutes of news a day that is relevant to what's going on. New study, okay, they've done this, the numbers, great. Oh, vitamin D's better, wonderful. It's about 30 minutes a day.
No, hold on. They have to spend at least a couple of minutes showing somebody has their dog in a mask and it's cute. They got to spend a few minutes on that.
Oh, dog in a mask. So fantastic.
Never gets old.
Never gets old. Never gets old dogs on TV. Never. Where the dog talks, oh, I want to get my own mask. Oh, I love it. Love it. But again, they're not talking about how this Russiagate has completely collapsed. They're not talking about the DNC destroying their own servers. Like, talk to any cop. I mean, talk to a grade school crossing guard, and they're going to go, wow, that seems suspicious. And they don't talk about this. We haven't talked about the Afghan papers. We haven't talked about Epstein. We're not talking about any of this stuff. It's just constant COVID, 24/7 of COVID. And it's like, there's nothing else happening? Oh, that's right. We're also not talking about the 7 wars we're in and all the money we're spending on war that could be used to give American citizens, I don't know, free rent. You're going to tell them to not work or leave their home for 3 months. You might want to pay their rent. I don't know. It's complete madness.
Yeah, it goes with that famous quote that I don't know who it was, but never let a good crisis go to waste. And it's, this is a real crisis, but that's then used by the various, ruling elite, the media elite, the liberati, the belligerati. All of them use this crisis in their various ways. Trump has used it to completely gut the EPA. I mean, the EPA now saying they won't actually stick to basically any regulations on corporations. And that's one example of how he's used the crisis and the Trump administration's used it. And then the media uses it to, like you say, not talk about everything significant other than COVID that's going on around the world. Our bombings continue. I mean, our bombings are not going to stop for a pandemic, even though the UN has called for a global ceasefire. Our economic wars are not going to stop during this pandemic, even though we know that people die because we won't allow medications through. Venezuela is paying, 3-4 times what most countries are for the testing and everything else because the U.S. sanctions on them have made it incredibly difficult. And so we know we literally know and can point to children that we've killed, babies that we've killed, elderly that we've killed in various countries due to our economic wars against them. Iran has been incredibly hit hard by this COVID-19, and when it first was happening, because Iran got hit a little earlier than us, they were doing the bragging thing where they're like, you can see the graves that the mass graves that Iran is building from space. Look at these satellite photos of mass graves Iran is building because of the pandemic. And then it hit us, and we stopped apparently finding it quite as funny. But it was just incredible to see the fucking bragging that the U.S. was doing on how many Iranians had died from this. Because every Iranian is evil, simply by fact that they live there. I mean, every every Iranian baby, really, children, toddlers. Iranian toddlers are the worst. I mean, just nefarious motherfuckers.
Well, that's the head of the ISIS snake is the Iranian toddler. So, I mean, it's so preposterous
True.
that we're sanctioning countries in the middle of a pandemic, which is just from a purely selfish standpoint is dumb. Just from a, we don't want this thing to spread. If you're just gonna, not even like, I know Mike Pompeo and those guys don't have a heart or soul or anything. Hillary didn't, you know, they're awful people. But even just from a, hey, if this thing just spreads all over the place, this might be bad for business. Just from our standpoint, we're doing this. Not to mention how awful it is. We claim to be a Christian country. Like, we should just stop and go, you know, we're not a Christian country. Because Jesus wouldn't do any of these things. We're just evil assholes that like money and greed and power. And
hold on, you don't remember that part of the Bible where Jesus was like, allow a pandemic to kill those people that I don't like?
Yeah, I remember when he said that. He said build a wall. He said drone strike them. Yeah, he was a big.
Did he build a wall out of fishes or loaves?
Yes, yes. Remember when he turned water into a drone strike? Remember that section in the Bible?
He took just plain, just out of the well water and turned it into waterboarding. It was really beautiful. Beautiful thing.
He truly was a gift. But yeah, it's unbelievable. Not to mention, in the middle of this pandemic, the United States determines that this is a great time to send mercenaries to Venezuela for the most bungled coup attempt.
That story's incredible. And it's, you know, the Mike Pompeo and all of them have pretended they didn't know anything about it. Chances are they knew it was going to happen, thought it might fail, and so they wanted to keep their hands clean and be like, we didn't know what was going to happen. But it's like Juan Guaido signed the contract with this maniac, Jordan Goudreau, the U.S. Green Beret. I think he's half Canadian, half U.S. Ex-Green Beret, who just like sent 60 guys just practically into the Venezuelan Navy's fire just to see what would happen. I mean, it's total. They didn't even get to the coast of Venezuela before they got caught, and 8 of them were killed in the firefight. Others were then dropped off on on the beaches of a Dutch island trying to escape, and they were all captured. It was just like, you can't even get to the country before it all goes south. It honestly sounds like a bad, comedy movie.
Well, yeah, April 29th, Pompeo says, there's a coup happening. It's underway. We're going to get Maduro in power. And then around May 2nd or 3rd is when this coup just completely collapsed. And Pompeo's like, I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I don't know any of these people. And Trump, they asked him about it. And he was like, he's such a bad liar. He was like, we had nothing to do. What guys? There was like, it's like a cop pulls you over.
Trump goes, no, if we go in, we'll go in with the military and we'll win in minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no, that's the reason you didn't go in with the military, so you could pretend this wasn't you.
Yeah, it's like when they busted Timothy McVeigh. Do you know why we pulled you over? I had nothing to do with that bombing in Oklahoma City. That had nothing to do. It's just like, you're so. Do you know why I pulled you over? It can't be. I don't have a body in the trunk. Oh.
Dahmer's like the organs were in those containers when I bought the fridge. It was a deal they had. Buy a new fridge, get a heart.
The fridge came with skulls that I had boiled. It came with boiled skulls. That's how you buy them. I mean, I don't know. Talk to Best Buy.
Really, there was a guy at Best Buy you should really speak to about this.
I think it was included in the warranty plan or something. I don't know. I'm just a guy who works here. What do I know? So how do you see this? This Russiagate. Where do you see this going or ending? Are they just going to quietly walk away like it never happened, or how is this? Do you think the people in power, the DNC and the corporate media, how do you think they're going to handle all this?
Yeah, well, it served a lot of its purpose that they wanted, which, step one was for the Clinton machine and the DNC to not have to actually look in on themselves as to why they lost to one of the least popular candidates to ever exist, putting up their own least popular candidate to ever exist. And they didn't want to have to do that. They didn't want the American people to do that and blame them. So they quickly decided, well, let's blame it on Russia. that apparently that there were meetings within the week after she lost, deciding that, you know, Russia was the best culprit for this. And it serves, you know, multiple purposes to keep a Cold War setting with Russia. It also serves to you know, push aside and alienate and delegitimize whole swaths of alternative media, independent media. I mean, yes, I'm called a Russian agent, but even people, you know, that don't have TV shows on RT are called Russian agents. I mean, Bernie Sanders, Jill Stein. It serves to really just delegitimize the entirety of anything left of the tiny corporate box of allowable thought on our airwaves. So it really has served a lot of its purpose, even though it has the actual factual basis for Russiagate has all just collapsed into a soup of nothingness. It's served its purpose, you know, in so many ways. And most Americans, if you say to them right now, if you say, well, you know, we just saw the congressional testimony, they said there was no evidence that Russia, they just go, oh no, that's definite. That's already, we already know that.
They already made their mind up.
That is, listen, NPR said it, all right? It is known. It is done. And so really just many Americans just have it cemented in their brain. They don't care what evidence comes forward. They don't care how much it has collapsed. And, you know, that's really sad to see. You hope with new evidence, people change their opinions, change their views. You know, maybe this could end up like WMD, where years afterwards, the media finally was like, oh, that was a bad time where we all said there were WMD in Iraq, huh? Oh, geez, sorry about that. But I think they'll probably continue at some level of this lie for, you know, for years to come.
Yeah, you're right. They did their job. They did their job of getting the lie in there, you know, like, so I got that $1,200 check, and then right around the same time, I got a letter from Donald Trump that's in English and in Spanish. And yeah, I think Trump is a complete jackass, and he's blundered this pandemic, you know, front to back, but the Democrats seem to blunder it more. It's fantastic. But
he is fluent in Spanish. I do know that about him.
He's so fluent. He loves speaking it. He loves other languages. That's why he built the wall. And, you know, a friend of mine who's smart, but, you know, they're a Hollywood, you know, neoliberal. They're like, yeah, I got that letter in Russian or in English and Spanish. I'm surprised it wasn't in Russian. So they're just already Trump's tied to Russia. And I'm just like, there's so many things to be critical of him about that are legitimate. You don't need this fake thing. It's like,
and also it doesn't seem to register with them that actually, yes, okay, Trump had a meeting or two with Putin, which is the norm for world leaders, but in terms of what he's done to Russia diplomatically, it's been far worse than Obama. I mean, he's expelled diplomats. It's just on so many levels. It's actually, his treatment of Russia has actually been worse than Obama's treatment of Russia. So why, if he's such great friends doing all these wonderful things for Russia, then why is that the case?
It just all falls apart. It all collapses. It's funny. The left is fond of pointing out the hypocrisy of the right and how the right votes against their own interest. And there's plenty of fine examples of that, you know. But then the left does the same type of crazy, like, stuff where they just refuse to see facts, and they just only want to see their side. It's the problem, or maybe, well, I don't know that it's the problem for the 99%, but it's I think the 1% has designed this stupid two-party system, which is just professional wrestling to get us to argue over it so that we don't pay attention to what's really happening, which is why there's people saying, you know, Joe Biden is better than Trump, and which is just a form of insanity that I can't even stomach. But yeah. But thanks for covering. But I want to talk about this. So the video though that you did on this recently, you said has been completely throttled.
Yeah, it's gotten 1/20th, maybe 1/10th, but I think really more like 1/20th of what my average web exclusive video gets. Just completely not shown to anybody as far as I can tell. It's, you know, and it, you know, it's so incredibly infuriating. I mean, you and I could talk for an hour about all the ways that we're suppressed and shadow banned. I've been shadow banned on Facebook for years now, and you know, you get accustomed to a certain level of it. But I think it always shocks me when it's like, oh, I had been used to being, this level suppressed, and then I just put out this video, and they, I guess, have shown it to none of my subscribers. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel the same way. Like I've been suppressed and throttled and this and that, but then a month ago they cut me in the middle of a live stream, and then I did a video about a.
Did they give a reason? Did you have your cock out or something?
Well, yeah, but it was like community guidelines cock out. You know what I mean? Like it was. I was being respectful.
The cock had a mask on, so it was CDC approved.
I had it 6 feet away from the camera, so it wasn't like I don't know what the problem was. But yeah, and then I did a video about this Chinese doctor that was doing corona research who died in a murder-suicide with his lover. And I just asked some questions. I didn't jump down a conspiracy rabbit hole. I just said, well, this could be exactly as they say. They had a fight. This guy had a gun. But it is weird. Maybe he found out that this was a U.S. bio, whatever. I said stuff like that, pulled the whole video. Just not even demonetized it, pulled it. And I was like, wow, it is available on rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, because they don't pull shit over there, which is why I love them. But all right, well, I want to get into something else. So I'm here with Lee Camp, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching The Political Vigilante. Please hit the like button. And I've done several videos on this. I know you've talked about this on Redacted. The number of COVID-related labor strikes, that have popped up. And there was like, going into May 1st, there was like 175, according to this one website. Now they're saying there's over 200. A bunch just started in Los Angeles with McDonald's again. 6 fruit packing plants in Washington. Everybody just walked off last week. So what are you seeing? Because we both, and I remember when Ron and I were in DC last year, and we went out after doing your show or something, and you brought up a fine point of like, I don't know if electoral politics is going to do it, and we were all sort of like, well, maybe Bernie he was sort of our last hope, and obviously that went down the toilet. But what are you seeing in terms of these essential workers? It kind of feels like people are sort of waking up to the fact that they have more than ever. They have more leverage than they could ever possibly have. What are you seeing?
It often takes a crisis to get people and workers to both be desperate enough to really stand up, and also to understand the power they have. I mean, it was the Great Depression that showed workers how much it was needed for them to stand up the last time around. And so I think we're seeing more strikes across the country than we've probably seen in a generation. There's a great site called paydayreport.com that covers all the strikes across the country. I think they're at like over 200 since the pandemic began. And people do have to be desperate to really start to stand up. But we're realizing that, like, we've been shown something here that perhaps a lot of people didn't know, which is, who are the actually essential workers? Who are the ones that our system does not function without? It is the garbage men and the janitors and the stock boys and the truckers driving across the country. Those are the essential workers. The CEOs and the hedge fund managers, they are not essential. Like, they could show up for weeks and nothing would change, except there'd be a massive drop in sexual harassment complaints. Like, they're completely not essential, and yet they're making 200, 300 times what the average worker makes. And so I think that has been a revelation to a lot of workers of how important they are and how much power they have. And yeah, there are a lot of workers standing up. Also, unfortunately, some of it has to do with fear. They're not getting the proper protection they should be getting at these job places. And therefore, they're afraid, and they decide, you know what, we're better off going on strike than risking our lives for unfettered capitalism. It's just insane for people to risk their families and their lives in order to just keep the machinery going that has enriched a small number of individuals. And through this crisis, like we talked about earlier, with the crisis being used via shock doctrine. The billionaires are doing incredibly well during this pandemic. Bezos alone has added something like $30 billion to his wealth. And they don't earn that money. They are not earning 1,000 times what the average. They're not working 1,000 times harder than your average worker. So they're not actually earning that money. Anyone who says he earned $100 billion doesn't understand how words work. So. I mean, that is somewhere I see the hope. I do feel like large-scale change has to come from the ground up, and they're working so hard. The ruling elite, the powers that be, are working so hard to make sure that doesn't happen. Everything from suppressing information about these strikes, mainstream media barely covering them. Someone emailed me when I said mainstream media wasn't covering this, and they said, I saw a 10-minute thing by Rachel Maddow about striking workers. Now, first of all, I'm sure it was an incredible report. But secondly, that's one report. You found one 10-minute block out of 24/7 coverage that addressed workers striking. That does not count as true wall-to-wall coverage.
This should be, I mean, as we were talking about earlier, this should be one of the driving headlines every day of another strike, more workers, because I follow a lot of these strikes and they're all the same. They want more protective gear. They don't, the work environment isn't safe to protect them from getting COVID-19. They want hazard pay and they, they want health benefits and all these other things. And I did a video on how dangerous the meat packers is. I know you did. And it's like, they're getting $13 an hour. And it's like, and same thing with this fruit pack, these 6 plants where hundreds of people walked off in Washington State. They're getting $13 an hour. And I'm telling people, join a union. Like if you're in a right to work state, find a union that does your job in other states and start organizing a union. You will never have this power ever again because, as you were saying, the ruling class knows this. Look, Mark Cuban said it. He goes, workers have never had more leverage than now, and the billionaires are scared. That's why they're like,
that because his ball sack scrubber went on strike. And, he was pretty nervous that the guy wouldn't come back without hazard pay. So.
He's one of the fun-loving billionaires. That's what his media team has pushed out there.
He doesn't like Trump, so therefore he's one of the good guy sociopaths.
And you can work hard and start a business and make a couple $1 million. You start making billions of dollars, you did something evil, you've exploited labor, you've screwed people over. And I think people are realizing they need to unionize, there needs to be a general strike, people need to shut stuff down because we're seeing what happened. Everything just has been shut down for 2 months. Some states are starting to open up here and there, but everybody saw what a real shutdown looked like. Stores closed, empty shelves in the grocery store. Everybody saw what it was like. And it was like, we could, and what's happening thanks to this horrible stimulus bill is big corporations are in position to come just buy up all the small businesses that are going to go under. So the workers now have to do this.
Yeah, well, that's what we're learning about these bailouts is they're really just designed to further consolidate the power and wealth to the top. We're talking trillions of dollars, literally something like $4.5 trillion available to big banks and to corporate heads of America, while others are, everyone else is fighting over the scraps of the bailout, the $1,200 checks, and it really is breadcrumbs. And even if those are, some people go, oh no, those are loans, those are guaranteed loans. Well, you loan out that money is power. So you have $4.5 trillion out there for these companies to use. They will use it, and they will buy up their competition. They will feed their investors, and even if they pay it back, it's too late. They will have consolidated their power and their ownership of America. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The small businesses that remain are suffering incredibly.
And even the small businesses that did get either the EIDL loan or the PPP loan, let's say they got enough loan to keep their lights on or whatever, then what? I mean, like you're a restaurant or some store that sells, shoes or whatever, and then what? You're a bar, and how many people are going to want to come to your place? How many people, and you can only open your restaurant at 25% capacity. All right, that's the new stay at home, open laws or whatever. I'm just roughly guessing based on city and state. They're all kind of doing some version of that, 25 to 50% capacity, right? How can you keep the lights on at even 50% capacity? How are you generating enough revenue to pay your rent and your insurance and your, I know, you and I have been working in comedy clubs for years. We know what the overhead is on those places, and the insurance, the wholesale costs and the food, the labor cost. How are you doing that with a 50% capacity?
Yeah, and the coke needs of the owner of those comedy clubs. It's just very tough to afford all that.
How to launder money so you pay comics in cash through your coke dealer. Like, there's a lot of moving parts in the comedy club business.
It is true, though. There's not a lot of overhead, and a lot of these smaller comedy clubs have closed around the country. And yeah, if they're like, oh yeah, comedy clubs can reopen, but at 1/10 capacity, they're not going to make much. And I've been playing to 1/10 full rooms my entire career, and it's not a good time.
It's not fun. No, look, Ron and I have a date set that we're going to have to move probably at the Zanies in Nashville, which is a great club. It's a 280 seat room, and the Tennessee is opening up around June, and they're like, you can half capacity, so it's 140 seats in a 280 seat room, and now they might be able to make that work. But I hope that they do, because they're a good club. But I'm just looking at just the margins. That I don't know what their lease is, but I just know they have a big facility. They have a lot of square footage. There's a lot of overhead, and I hope that. But I'm just looking. That's just one club that I know personally, and I know how it works. But I see restaurants and bars and stuff like this just where I live in LA. And I'm wondering how they're going to stay open. Ron and I have already had 2 clubs just go out of business, one in Seattle and one in Boston, that we had tour dates set. They're just done. They shut their doors.
Wow.
And it's
most of the touring I was doing was, basically a door deal, basically ticket deal. And, many of the shows I do, and I enjoy doing them, but once I'd paid for the flights to get there, and the rental car or whatever, and the opener, and some food or something, by the end of the day, and then the 30%, 20% of the club, whatever it is, by the end of the day, I played it was like 3 shows, Chicago and Detroit, and walked away with like $300 or something. So it's like, now you cut that in half, it would not be pretty.
No, Ron and I, we try to get really good door deals, because again, we're paying all our own travel. And, I was talking to Ron, I said, when we go back, a big part of we get a decent size, we try to get most of the door, let the club make the bar, right? So that's good. And then there's merchandise we sell after the shows, and that, pays for a lot of our travel and pays for a lot of the expenses and helps us come home with a profit, because we split it down the middle 50-50. And we're asking the same questions. If there's half as many people there, and how many people are going to want to come out to the clubs? And I'm sure a lot of people are excited to come see live shows, but then we have 30% unemployment. How many people are going to have the money? And so
maybe you could charge extra to get infected, for people to get infected with COVID from you. That's
like a Patreon tier. Yeah, I get it. The COVID tier. I think that's a great idea. Like, I'll take a photo with you and then cough into your mouth, and it's an extra $10.
Yeah, that's pretty special. It's a special moment right there.
Well,
yeah, no, it is tough. I don't know. Maybe we ourselves need to register as a hedge fund. Maybe that would help.
Yes, or a church, so we're tax-free, something like that.
The Church of Graham Elwood. I like it.
Maybe a hedge fund church, like. So we pray to money and hedge funds, and we just have like a billionaire in a robe that we pray to or something. This sounds great.
Yeah. I think it sounds good. Let's get it started.
Well, Lee, thank you so.
Graham Elwood.
Thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. Where can people watch you? I know you're doing live shows. You're not just Redacted tonight, but doing your own stuff. What do you got coming up?
I'm doing a live stream tonight with Eleanor Goldfield. We'll be answering everybody's questions and talking about corporate crime. And that's at youtube.com/Moment of Clarity. It's not at my regular channel, so it's at the Moment of Clarity channel. And all my other stuff redacted tonight and everything, my new book, my new comedy special, all of that is at leecamp.com.
Check the book out, folks. I've read some of the book. It's hilarious. The way you just talked about, there's a section there where you just talk about what falling in love is like. Oh, God damn, it made me laugh. So what is it? Bullet Points and Punchlines is the name of the book?
That's right.
It's an excellent book. Well, check Lee out. Follow him. Watch his live stream tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. Thank you so much, Lee, for being on the show.
Thank you, man. Keep doing it.
All right, buddy. We'll see you in that banana hammock.
Later.
Lee Camp, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? That was pretty cool, right? Having Lee on the show. Yeah, we're up in the tech game. How sweet was that? Give me 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. I will be right back. I'm just going to go in the other room. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get to the super chats in a second. But when you hit the like button, it helps, and share this out on your own social media. It helps get things going. Boom, boom, pow. Boom, boom, pow. All right, folks, we're back. We are back. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys had Leon. Wasn't that awesome? Go to leecamp.com. His book, Bullet Points and Punchlines, is fantastic. So let's go to some super chats. Shave your knuckles for justice, ladies and gentlemen. Is this on Rockfin too? No, I am only streaming on YouTube. I haven't figured out how to do Rockfin and YouTube at the same time. Ron was telling me about that. It's just so much. It's so many little technical things. We had to do a run through earlier today with Ron to make sure I had it right for Lee. And even when Lee came on, we had a couple of tech things. There's always something. But I do a exclusive Rockfin live stream every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific. It's for premium members. So if you go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood for $10 a month, you get premium content of all the content creators on Rockfin. And I'm going to put some just that are for free on Rockfin as well. And I put all my videos that are on YouTube. I also put them on Rockfin. And then some of the ones that have been like pulled. I'm starting to put more videos that are just exclusive to Rockfin because I know YouTube's going to pull them. Like that video about the Chinese doctor with the COVID research. That's on Rockfin. You can see a video that's been completely yanked from YouTube. Balthazar228. What's up, Balthazar? How you been, brother? Shave your knuckles for justice. Are you ready for the comb boot shard fake out into HRC and Snake Warren rising from under the stage DNC switcheroo 2020 at the convention? Oh yeah, I know. I was on Get Your News On with Ron earlier today, and I just said I just think Hillary's gonna she's gonna be the nominee. I really think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I think that's what they're going to do, folks. Let me shut Zoom down. Having Arno help out with the tech stuff has been really good because I can really kind of figure out and make sure I'm not overloading my CPU and all this stuff. So it's boom, 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 boom. Hit the like button. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube is, let's see. View, go to live control room. Because I'm not seeing how many people are viewing and how many people are likes. There's this weird stuff happening with YouTube right now. So it's a little crazy. Crazy for feeling so blue. God, they've already restricted ads on this live stream. God. I think I might have to start, and let me know what you all think of this. of doing what Jimmy does, which as soon as the live stream's over, I pull it and then just play the archived footage all in its entirety on Patreon. And I'd like to do it on Rockfin, but it's hard because it's it's not showing me all of the super chats. God, this is frustrating. All right, 251 likes. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. It's not telling me what the total chat revenue is. Okay. All right. Emperor Palpatine. Shape your not going to suggest this. That's not. Let me get Palpatine's voice down. Oh, the field generator will be quite operational when your friends arrive. You pitiful little band, strike me down, boy. Oh, God, Palpatine. What a great villain. What he's just sitting there and the lightsaber's and he's like, you want this. It's so great. It's so great. Will you do a video on Jessica Collins, the woman who claimed she was trafficked to Joe Biden by Deborah Palfrey? The story needs to go viral. Yeah, let me get some more information on that. I've heard about that, but I wanted to yeah, I don't know if there's an interview with her, if she's someone that's available for an interview, or if there's like definitive articles out there about her that I can do an article that I will do a video on that for sure. For sure. Thank you, Emperor Palpatine. I'm afraid the shield generator will be quite operational when your friends arrive. Balthazar228, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Also, Joe Biden's website is pushing oh God, Middle East policy where it says to let Palestinians off the hook for their choices. Continuing pro-Israel propaganda. Tim Canova's pushing hydrochloroquine too. Yeah, I talked about Tim Canova talking about hydrochloroquine. Yeah, of course Biden is, man, you know, he's going to be pushing AIPAC talking points because look, the NRA owns the Republicans and AIPAC owns the Democrats. We're all, you know, Lee and I were just talking, you know, everyone's all Russia and foreign interference. Look how much money AIPAC spends. Billions of dollars. Unbelievable. Old Gringo, shave your knuckles for justice. This reminds me of the time that Zappa went on Letterman warning about the brown lipstick. You got that right. Eliza DeVoody, what's up, Eliza? How you doing? Laugh my ass off. Isn't evidence tampering a crime? Exactly. Back to the Russiagate thing. The fact that they destroyed their servers, that should have been investigated. That is evidence tampering. Yes, Eliza, that is a crime. The DNC just commits crimes left and right. And they're somehow the good guys in the eyes of people of the neoliberal. Unreal. Unreal. Rabid Kitten Apocalypse. That's a movie I'd make. It's never war crime if we do it. Absolutely. When Obama dropped more bombs than Bush and 90% of his casualties were civilians, it was okay because his tweets were nice. He had nice tweets. It's okay. It's okay. Costello, what's up, Costello? Lee passes Graham a line of blow. What does he do? I say, no, thank you, sir. I've never done hard drugs like that, ever. I used to drink, for sure. Smoked weed once or a couple times, but never did hard drugs, and never will. So if you ever hear like, oh, Graham Elwood OD'd on hard drugs, you know that was the CIA. I'll just tell you that right now. There's never going to come a time where I'm going to do hard drugs. I'm not going to OD. That was the CIA. Vanadulus, shaving knuckles for justice. Trial. Vanadulus again. Okay, it worked. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Eliza DeVoody again. What's up? You're making Gotham great again. Dems are every bit as brainwashed, partisan, and resistant to facts as Republicans, but almost worse. I tend to agree with that because they are just as bad, but also insist they have the moral high ground. So gross. Yeah, that's why I say, honestly, I think that the college-educated neoliberal is worse than the MAGA hat wearing people who say that Trump never lies. Yes, a lot of those people very racist, very closed-minded, but I can even have like a little bit of empathy for them because they were probably born into us. I've been to these parts of the country. Everyone's white, everyone's the same, goes to the same church, they've been crushed by the economy, they don't know people different than them. And I'm not excusing the folks in that group that are very racist. I'm not excusing that at all. But what bothers me is the college-educated neoliberal. You have a college degree, you're supposed to be so worldly and so open-minded, and yet you refuse to acknowledge the crimes of the Obama years. You refuse to do it. I agree. I think that's almost worse. Like, I mean, and they just think everyone in the flyover states is dumb, and they just go between coast to coast, and they just like, and how smart are you? You just bought the Russiagate thing, hook, line, and sinker. You just bought it. You heard it. Rachel Maddow said it. You bought it. No questioning, no nothing. Bought it. The Democratic Party cheats and cheats and cheats. The Podesta emails come out, but that's my team, so it's okay. You just, how are you different than the Trump supporter that says Trump never lies? Like I've asked him, I've had arguments with this. I've lost some friends because I've been like, how are you different? Tell me, explain to me how you're different, how you're better. Explain it to me. Well, explain it. Yes. Yes, the evangelicals are, they're hypocrites 10 times a day. They weekly, like, you know, all their Second Amendment nonsense, all of that. Yes, you can criticize all of that. All those criticisms are legitimate, but how are you, the believe all women crowd? Believe all women, unless Tara Reid, maybe we don't believe her. That's hypocritical bullshit. How is that more or less hypocritical than the person that claims to be a right-wing Christian that's like, oh, build a wall? And you say to them, why would Jesus build a wall? How are you, it's so insane. The hypocrisy is mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing. Nene B, what's up, Nene B? Shave your knuckles for justice. Prepare me, what are downsides to Nina Turner as president? I don't see many. I mean, there's so much about Nina Turner that I like. The downside, I guess, would be, and I said this on Ron Placone today, she's sounding like she might leave the Democratic Party, but I think her Achilles is she still thinks she can change the Democratic Party from within. And I get the allure of the Democratic Party because it has money, it has infrastructure. So you think, boy, if we can just change this big machine, we're already set. Like if we could just get Coca-Cola to stop selling Coke and just sell vegan smoothies, and instead of using plastic bottles, use, you know, whatever, glass made from rainbows or whatever, then we can do that. But that's, you can't change that party from within, man. You can't do it. It's literally like it's like thinking that might be her one weakness. She thinks the committee and the task forces and the progressive caucus, they're all going to get it done. She thinks that's her weakness. I think she's brilliant. I would vote for her as president in a heartbeat. If she left and joined Movement for His People's Party, I would be like, drop everything and I will go help that. I would go help that in a heartbeat. I would get involved in that. But if she thinks she can reform the Democratic Party from within, AOC, none of them call out the crimes of the Democratic Party. And that might be her downside. She might also not be willing to criticize the 8 years of Obama. That might be her downside. That is the biggest downside. That is the biggest anchor of anyone on the left, with or within or without, in or out of the Democratic Party. Bernie wouldn't, AOC, Tulsi barely. None of them really called out, I'm sorry, Obama and Biden did awful things for 8 years and we can't pretend that didn't happen. So if she's unwilling to do that, then that's her downside. Because reforming the Democratic Party from within is like joining a drug cartel and going, instead of them selling, drugs that kill people and destroy communities. I'm going to get him to sell vegan smoothies. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. If I would have just hung out with Pablo Escobar a little bit, he would have been my buddy and I could have totally convinced him. So this notion that you can reform the Democratic Party is over. Get rid of that thought. It's not possible. In the most critical moment in history, this was the moment. Bernie Sanders had the moment and he blew it. He wouldn't call out the Democratic Party cheating. He wouldn't call them out cheating in 2016 or 2020. He wouldn't call it out. AOC wouldn't call it out. None of them would call out that. There's nothing you can do. And the refusal of the left to acknowledge all the crappy shit that Obama and Biden did, dropping more bombs than Bush, 90% casualties with their bombs, deporting 3 million people, building the cages at the border and separating families. Everyone on the left was all in outrage over Trump doing it, and it's awful, but they didn't know about it or didn't care when Obama didn't. 6 million foreclosures, giving the banks $1 trillion and letting them steal people's homes like mine. Opening up the Arctic to drilling twice. We still have contaminated water in Flint, Michigan, and Obama lied and took a glass of water and went, hey, let me check. No, water's fine. He lied. He did a publicity stunt. It was awful. So this refusal, and if Nina Turner can't do it, I mean, she called out that there's racists within the Democratic Party last year, and I did a video on it. It was a very highly watched video. So if she can just let go of that and say, she could sit there. She has the courage to say, look, I, as a black woman, was proud that Obama was the first black president, but I got to be honest, he didn't do any of the crap we wanted him to do. And he's a disappointment. She has to be able to say that. She'll take a ton of shit. But if she really wants to be a leader, we are in the middle of a crisis. And everyone's like, oh, now's not the time for revolution. That's so right. Revolutions always happen when everything's going right. That's so true. That's why Dr. King and all them, is because Jim Crow laws were so great for black people in the 60s. That was such a great, easy time for black people to live in the South. That's when they decided to do the civil rights, which was a revolution. That's why Susan B. Anthony decided, let's give women the right to vote, because it was so great for women. Women loved not having the right to vote and being treated as second-class citizens. They loved it. It was so great. So until people are willing to step up and do something, it's never going to change. So, all right, let's see where we are here. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Carefully, don't you know Graham's a puppet of Big Kale and Big Algae? Oh, Sparky, how dare you whistle blow. The precursor, shave your knuckles for justice. 2 legends on the screen right now. Oh, thank you so much, man. It was so cool having Lee on the show. Just laughing. So good. Mona Carmona, what's up, Mona? Shave your knuckles for justice. Dropping some love. I love Lee and I love you. You're so amazing, Graham. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Mona. I appreciate that. It's really the support that I get from all of you means a lot to me. I mean, I obviously appreciate the financial support, but all the ways that you folks support me, liking, subscribing, sharing my stuff, it really means a lot to me. Balthazar 228, shave your knuckles. Biden vetting Klobuchar for VP is war criminal McCain's vetting Sarah Palin levels of I want to lose harder than HRC in 2016 stupid. Oh yeah, they're going to get crushed. If Biden still has the nomination, again, my prediction, Hillary's going to snake in and grab it. But if it is like Biden Klobuchar or even Biden Stacey Abrams, he's going to get crushed. He's going to get crushed. It's going to get crushed. Hold on, I got to respond to this quickly. Boom. Because here's the thing that is going to kill. Where did that video go? Where did that video go? What did I do with that video? What did I do with that video? Here. This video. This right now, the Democrats, Trump is so beatable. He's made so many mistakes. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you're watching The Political Vigilante. Trump keeps making mistake after mistake after mistake during this pandemic. This is a golden opportunity for the Democrats to go. Bernie, had he risen up and did the thing we wanted him to do, he could have said, I'm going to give you Medicare for all. I'm going to give you $2,000 UBI. I'm going to get rid of student debt so you don't have that bill. I'm going to pay your rent for 3 months, and I'm going to get us out of this. We're going to have more unions, better jobs. I'm going to take care of workers. Frontline workers are going to get hazard pay. I'm going to bring back the pandemic task force that Trump got rid of. I'm going to have more testing. We're going to have free health care for everybody. I'm going to do all this stuff. And people in this crazy pandemic will go, you got it, you got it, you got it. But the Democrats, no, Bernie didn't do that. He folded. And him and AOC, they just wagged their finger at the Republicans when they signed on to that stimulus bill. They signed it, $4.25 trillion. And what have the Democrats done? Give this bumbling idiot Trump, who I don't like at all and would never vote for, they're handing him the election because of stuff like this.
We turn now to that $350 billion fund to help small businesses and its workers get through the shutdown.
It will be up to Congress to restock it.
But Democrats blocking that move this morning.
They asked for $250 billion in 48 hours. I said, well, I don't think so. They objected, and I congratulate the Senate Democrats.
Speaker Pelosi, what are you going to share with us from your home?
Chocolate candy.
Thousands have been forced to wait for hours at food banks all across the country.
This is chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. We just got it restocked with the ice cream.
You don't want to eat up everything all at one time.
I can't do it much longer. I'm trying so hard.
We were, shall we say, enjoying.
Having to admit that, yeah, we're starving, and
I like it better than anything else.
Taping this segment, there are 22 million people out of work.
This specific program is about stopping job losses today.
This is hurting people bad.
Other people in our family look for some other flavors, but
right now it's survival move. You don't know where that next something else is going to come from.
I don't know what I would have done if ice cream were not invented. I just wonder.
Trump is not pictured or mentioned anywhere in that ad. The only place his name comes up is the end, where that's legally you have to say what campaign paid for it. Paid for it by Donald Trump for president. He doesn't have to say a policy. He doesn't have to say anything. All they do is just show how incompetent the Democrats are. And the Republicans are incompetent too, but the Democrats are so bad. Trump didn't even have to say what he's going to do, how I'm going to fix things. He doesn't have to. He just says, look how bad they are. That's all he has to do, and they hand it to him. Joe Biden, if he's still the nomination with some awful VP pick like Amy Klobuchar or even Stacey Abrams, he's going to get crushed because of that. Because of that. Bernie had a moment in history. He was standing at the crossroads of history. That's when great people rise up. That's when great leaders rise up. There's an expression. Crisis doesn't create character, it reveals it. And this crisis revealed Bernie to just be not the real leader. And there's no reason to make excuses for him. He said he wanted to be president of the United States of America twice. He took all of our money. He said he's going to do it. And at the moment when he should have stood up, that he could have said, I'm the guy to lead us out of this crisis. Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Joe Biden doesn't either. I'm the guy. And America would have rallied around him. And he'd be giving speech after speech after speech in all of these red state depressed areas going, I'm going I'm going to open up hospitals. I'm going to give you Medicare for all. But he won't do that. Because to do that, he would also have to go, hey, New York City, that has over 35,000 COVID-19 deaths. Cuomo, a Democrat, shut down hospitals and had 20,000 less hospital beds. That was part of the reason the deaths were so bad in New York. There's many factors, of course, many factors. But part of it was the hospitals were overrun. If they had 20,000 more hospital beds like they used to have before he shut them down and cut funding for Medicare to the state of New York and gutted the nurses union in New York, less people would have died in New York City. That is a fact. And Bernie won't do that. So you don't like Trump? You don't want another 4 years of Trump? Blame the Democrats. They gave us Trump 4 years ago. Hillary ran an awful, corrupt campaign. She didn't campaign in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And who did they blame? Burn Bros, Jill Stein, and Russia. The Podesta emails show all the corruption within Hillary's campaign. Donna Brazile was fired from CNN for giving Hillary answers before a debate. Neoliberal Hillary fans didn't seem to bother them. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was fired by the DNC, hired by the Hillary campaign. Nobody cared. All the new information to come out, that Russiagate, there's no evidence, CrowdStrike, there's no evidence. I've had Lee Camp on the show talking about there's no evidence. But neoliberals just want to say Trump bad, Trump, 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 Russia, Russia, Trump, Trump bad. And people are dying, people are losing their jobs. The government told everybody to stop working. You can't work. And then you got a $1,200 check. Some people are getting unemployment, some aren't. This is an opportunity. Bernie Sanders could be going, we have a broken system. I'm the guy to fix it. He's done. He won't. The Democrats are going to give Trump another 4 years. Shave your knuckles for justice. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Real estate, shave your knuckles for justice. Progressives, populists, all the disaffected independents, we have to find common ground. Come together, make a statement now, not later, pass it on. No, it's what I was talking about with Lee. General strikes, labor strikes, this is what's going to get it done. If you're hanging your hopes on the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, I wouldn't. I would love somebody like Jesse Ventura or Nina Turner to join Movement or Green Party and like we all get behind them. I would love to see that happening. I don't see it. I don't know. There's a lot of time left between now and November, and an independent third party doesn't need a convention and this other nonsense. They can just do it. So I'd love to see it, but we can't wait around waiting for that. My opinion is Nina Turner, at the end of the day, she's going to stick with the Democratic Party and say she's going to fall in line with the Trump's bad, Trump, Trump, bad, bad. She'll say some things critical of the Democratic Party, but she'll stay in the party. She won't leave it. It's an abusive relationship. The two-party system is an abusive relationship. If you had a friend that was in any kind of relationship with a significant other who kept abusing them, and then your friend said, yeah, but I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils. This abusive relationship is not as bad as a potential other abusive relationship. And the abuser kept saying, it'll get better. In 4 years from now, it'll get better. Just give me a little chance, and and you've been hearing this. You tell your friend, get the fuck out of that relationship. It's awful. That's what these two parties are. The American voter we are children in an alcoholic home. And the two parents are the Republican and the Democrat, and they're both abusive and lying, and they pit us against each other, and they fight, and they don't take care of their own kids. They don't care about us. They only care about, it's nuts. That's what and no one wants, it's like the lesser of two evils is still evil. It's mind-boggling to me. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. College educated equals college indoctrinated. Yeah, good point. See Cody 117, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Germany and Britain can give out checks because negative interest rates, which hurts poor people. Look up Max Kaiser report. MMT is a blank check. Oh yeah, I follow Max. I like that. Maker of things, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Forcibly taking power, VRS participating in fascism. All right. Rabbi Red Eye. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I pledge allegiance to the party of the United Corporations of America and to the centrists, moderates, and never Trump Republicans. Joe Biden under Moloch and defensive with Pelosi and no Medicare for all. That's fantastic. Oh, man. All right, folks, hit the like button. Marianne and Nina. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. Nina Turner will have to turn her back on the Dem Party if she has any hope of being an effective leader. I know. People have to get out of that abusive, it's a crazy alcoholic family, the Republicans and Democratic Party. They're just bad. Both parties are awful and corrupt. Neither party gives a damn about the people, only care about their donors. They give some lip service to a couple little issues that they think their base cares about. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Trump doesn't care. Joe Biden doesn't care. Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, none of them care about you. None of them. None of them. And the fact that they're multimillionaires shows you how corrupt they are. You cannot be worth tens, and in Nancy Pelosi's case, is $100 million unless you are utterly corrupt. You can't make that money unless you're corrupt. Darth Buzzkill, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Using one finger, show us how you feel about the DN. They're number one. Boom, they can suck it. They arrested the guy who filmed Aubrey being shot for murder. Well, that's good. I asked a guy at my drugstore if they had any knuckle razors. He looked at me funny and said he's never heard of them before. Last night on the live stream, I shaved my knuckles. Live. And I did it for justice. And I am doing it for Gotham. All right, let's do a segment, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. It could be all the branches of our government are so corrupt that only a real revolution and restructure of our system will save this country. We need a general strike, man. Peaceful, nonviolent resistance. It's what we need. We need to shut everything down and tell them this. We're well, we'll ask for this and hope we get that. No. We are shutting it down until we get all of these demands met. That's it. That's that. If every Amazon worker walked out and said, we demand union wages, if everybody did that, like every McDonald's worker, this is what we want. We demand it. Demand it. Well, this is kind of a cool story. I'm going to do a positive story every once in a while. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante, rising up from the darkness. Gotham, the truth comes to you in the form of a shaved knuckle. Great way to support the show is do what Tim Stack has done. Tim, thank you so much. You've been supporting my show since day one, dude. You were one of my first ever Patreon supporters 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I had about 164 subscribers. Now we've got over 68,000. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure you're subscribed. Sometimes people get unsubscribed, but let's get to 100,000 in 2020. Let's do it. Let's do it. Share the videos and support the show. I appreciate that. One of the things you can do is go to patreon.com/GrahamElwood and support the show. You get bonus content for as little as $2 a month. Climate change bath sponge breakthrough could boast cleaner cars. Well, this is a cool story. I like these kind of science stories that come up. I like tracking. I talk a lot about climate change, and I try to do at least one climate change video a week, but I always try to find when there's cool technology or an invention or something like that, because I firmly believe if we put real money behind it, we got to drop our consumerism down. I've watched Planet of Humans. That's absolutely true. But there are ways we can try to find solutions that are completely sustainable. This might be one of them. Let's just analyze it. Let's just look at it. A new material developed by scientists could give a significant boost to a new generation of hydrogen-powered cars. Hydrogen, very clean burning. Like a bath sponge, the product is able to hold and release large quantities of the gas at lower pressure and cost. Containing billions of tiny pores, a single gram of the new aluminum-based material has a surface area the size of a football pitch. This article is written in England, so they're talking about what we would say soccer, but I know there's people in the UK that watch this show, so football, soccer, whatever you say it, I'm down. Bundesliga started playing. I've been watching a little bit of that. I wish my MLS was back up and running, but they will be soon. Anyway, side note. The authors say it can store the large volume of gas needed for practical travel without needing expensive tanks. In 2017, CO2 emissions from cars, trucks, and airplanes and trains overtook power plants as the largest source of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. And it bears noting that during this shutdown quarantine, we have seen better air quality because there's all these less cars and trucks and planes out there. So that's another thing when I talk about just we got to consume less. We need to consume less oil. I'm going to be curious to see what happens in the next year, how people react. All these people who have been working at home. I know some people just got flat out laid off, but a lot of people are just working at home. And I've heard people say it's kind of nice. I don't have to commute, you know, and I live in Los Angeles. There's a long commute. Wherever you live I don't have to take, and I'm sure some businesses are like, well, why do we have this big expensive office space when we can do all this work at home? I'm sure some people, some couples or whatever are going, do we need 2 cars? Do we need, excuse me, if all of us can downsize, use less, you know, do you need 2 cars if you're a couple? Can one of you stay at home and work it? Whatever. We got to consume less. We got to leave as much oil in the ground as possible. And we've got to find more sustainable ways to use the vehicles we are using. And I drive an electric car, and I know the electric car is not the big savior. You watch Planet of Humans, I know all this natural resources need to go into making batteries and the electricity and all that stuff. So how can we downsize? We're learning that in this pandemic, how to make our lives simpler, right? Because this is a real statistic. This is no joke. It's been an unintended benefit of this quarantine is the air quality. I'm seeing more animal life and insects and all this stuff, sea life. There's more of it because there's not as many harmful CO2s in the air. But anyway, back to this car. The gas is used to power a fuel cell in cars and trucks, and if it is produced using renewable energy, it is a much greener fuel. The gas is extremely light in normal atmospheric pressure. To carry 1 kilogram of hydrogen, which might power your car for over 100 kilometers, you'd need a tank capable of holding around 11,000 liters. So to get around this problem, the gas is stored at high pressure around 700,000 bar. I don't know what that means. So cars can carry 4 to 5 kilograms of the gas and travel up to 500 kilograms before refilling. So that's one of the barriers right now of hydrogen cars. Also, the infrastructure for refueling. So they have this big tank. Now researchers believe they have developed an alternative method that would allow the storage of high volumes of hydrogen under much lower pressure with this sponge that they're talking about. And I'll put the link in the show notes, gives a little more detail. If you have the science background to understand, I understood vaguely what some of this meant, but if you read the whole article, it might make more sense to you. We can store tremendous amounts of hydrogen and methane within the pores of the metal organic framework and deliver them to the engine of the vehicle at lower pressures than needed for current fuel cell vehicle, Professor Farah said. The key ability of the new framework is that it can potentially store hydrogen and other gases at much lower pressures while not needing an enormous tank. We got to find sustainable solutions. Is this it? Could be. I don't know. I've watched Planet of Humans, and they make some great points, and they uncover that a lot of the sort of green energy, many of it is funded by fossil fuels, and fossil fuels are trying to weasel its way in there. That might be what this is. It's hard to say. But I'm open, and we need to find sustainable options that can do this. And again, we still need to limit our consumption. Not sustainable. We can't find a magic solution so that we all keep driving all these cars and consuming all this stuff. We can't do it. We got to find a better way to do this. I mean, I've talked about this before, but like, you know, I grew up as a kid in the 70s, and I have a brother and two sisters. There's 4 of us and 2 brothers. There were 6 people living in a house. We had 1 phone number. No computers, no tablets. We had 1 TV in the basement with an antenna. We had 3 actual phones, kitchen, upstairs, and basement, right? 4-bedroom house. And the phones didn't even require electricity. You just plug them into the phone line. Now, everybody's got a cell phone, a tablet, a computer. Like a 6-person home has 6 phone numbers now. So we're just consuming way too much. We got to shut it down. We've got to consume less, for starters. We've got to get rid of oil. We got to get off of oil and fossil fuel. Get off of them, which means no more petroleum-based plastics. We need plant-based plastics. We can't just have bottled water. I mean, plastic bottles, there's 5 islands of floating garbage. So we need to do a whole comprehensive thing to get this done. And I don't want the fossil fuel companies really, I don't want them leading this, because they're just going to be looking for profit. We need to find solutions that don't make the human race go extinct, because that's what we're facing. This might be one of them. It might not. I don't know. But I appreciate Tim Stack supporting the show and going to patreon.com/grandma to support what I do. All right? Like, share, subscribe, do all that business, and you're making Gotham great again just by expanding the ideas and looking for new solutions. Just part of that process, even if every solution isn't the one, but we got to get a collective, like, collaborative thinking to find solutions. And it's okay to find one, that didn't work, but we got to keep getting on this, and then vote with your dollars. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom, 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 boom. So not all of the super chats and everything are coming through, you guys. Figure out how to bring up the methane from the bottom of the ocean, and you will be rich enough to purchase the solar system. Yeah. Bloody brilliant, Graham. Moreover, dairy and beef and so forth are bucked as soon as cell grows, proteins come around. Yep. Yeah, we got to change agriculture. We got to change all this stuff. That's an excellent point. Old gringo, shave your knuckles for justice. James Howard, counselor of the Clusterfuck Nation blog, says that America's obsession with happy monitoring will end by choice or by force of nature. Happy motoring. Oh, yeah, yeah. I know. We're going to see what happens. Turn the TV off and life becomes a lot simpler. Yeah, I know. I love being outside. God, I was out surfing this morning. It was so great. Starting your day surfing is so great. It's just the greatest thing, man. There's no TV, there's no internet, there's no phones, there's no social media, there's nothing, man. Just me and the waves and the sun and the sand and birds, and so great. So great. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. All right. All right, folks. Alexis Caban, shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you, Alexis. Boom. Ba-ba-ba-boom, boom. Ba-boom, boom. So I will not be going live Friday. Saturday, Ron and I are taking another Saturday off. We're not doing the Zoom show. But I think maybe the next Saturday, a week from this Saturday, we'll do another Zoom show. So I just want to let you know that. So the next time I go live will be Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific, the original Super Chat time. So check that out. Also, a great way to support the show is to go to grahamelwood.com. I have, I'll show you my Political Vigilante shirt and book and everything. So there's cool ways to support the show. And I get it if money's tight, because we're all in the middle of this struggle. No worries. If money is tight, no worries. No worries. Boom. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Always hit that like button. Always hit that like button. So what's up, citizens of Gotham? So if you go to grahamelwood.com, one of the things you can get is a Political Vigilante t-shirt. It says Make Gotham Great Again with the official logo on it. These are American Apparel shirts, right? That are made in American Apparel shirts. Oh, they're not made in America anymore. Ugh, that's a bummer. But they are comfortable, nice. These are $25. That's free shipping. Free shipping on anything you buy at grahamelwood.com. And the company that prints, so American Apparel, is in LA. And the husband and wife team that does the printing, they're just a family-owned business in my neighborhood, so you're supporting their family-owned business. I use packaging that is all made from recycled materials, and I ship exclusively with the United States Post Office, so you're using union labor. And then I have these two DVDs are on sale, $15, because I'm not going to be making any more of these. I know it's an old format, people are using downloads, but this Graham Elwood Live from Afghanistan is me performing stand-up comedy at a bunch of different bases, 6 different bases in Afghanistan and Kyrgyzstan. It's really cool. I'll autograph the cover for you. And then I have Earbuds, the podcasting documentary, with interviews with Aisha Tyler, Chris Hardwick, Joe Rogan, Will Anderson, and many others. And this area right here, again, I'll autograph it. Whatever your name is on the shipping label, I'll make your name out and I'll autograph it for you. And then the Comedy Film Nerd Guide to Movies. Boom. This is $25. And again, everything's free shipping. So out the door, bang, bang. And it's funny movie reviews. It's got science fiction, Western, comic book movies, fantasy, horror, comedy, rockin' movies, animation, action adventure, war movies, film noir, musicals, documentaries, film school classics, romantic comedies, cops and robbers, sports movies, drama, family, martial art movies, cult classics. It's really cool. And at the end of each chapter, it has the 10 best and 10 worst in there. So like my 10 best martial, because I wrote the martial arts chapter, is Enter the Dragon is my top 10. Then 7 Samurai. 36 Chamber of the Shaolin, magnifique. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, Kung Fu Hustle, brilliant movie. Ong Bak Thai Warrior. So fucking rad. Tony Jaa is so great in that. The Last Samurai. One of my favorite lines of all cinema. Ken Watanabe says in The Last Samurai, he's looking at a cherry blossom because they're only in bloom for about 4 or 5 weeks or something like that in April in Japan. He goes, if you spent your whole life looking for the perfect cherry blossom, it would not be a life wasted. Beautiful line. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Hero, and Super Cop. These are my favorite. And then the 10 worst martial art movies, Jim Kata. Oh yeah. There's a pommel horse in the middle of a jail. And an Olympic gymnast, Kurt Thomas, this is the skill of gymnastics, the kill of karate. Actual tagline. Mortal Kombat, Annihilation movie, Karate Kid Part 3, the next Karate Kid. The entire American Ninja franchise, Bulletproof Monk, Lionheart, Delta Force 2. Final Deviation is Ireland's only martial art movie. Ninja Terminator and Black Belt Jones. God, I love Black Belt Jones. But all this stuff is available at grahamelwood.com, free shipping. Again, these are on sale. The DVD is $15 each. The book and the t-shirt are $25 each. If you buy them tonight, I will put them in the mail tomorrow. So somebody bought yesterday and it's shipping today. So I package everything with my vegan guns. So you know these vegan guns touched with shaved knuckles in a weird praying mantis style. I don't know why I'm doing that, but it's a great way to support the show. Matt S. Shave your knuckles for justice. Graham had some good fortune and wanted to share. Knuckles, shave them, buddy. Matt, thank you so much for supporting the show. I really appreciate it when people do these big super chats. It's so awesome you're supporting the show, and you're also helping out people who watch the show who money's tight right now. And so anyone whose money's tight, don't worry. And I always say there's a lot of great free ways to support the show. Watch the ads on YouTube all the way through. When you click skip ad, I do not get paid, right? So you watch the ads all the way through. Even open up a separate browser window. Even if they play long, stupid ads, just let the ads do that. I really, really appreciate that. Make sure you've hit the bell notification. Make sure you like all of the videos. This one, anyone you watch, hit the like button. Even something in the comment section, great video, thumbs up, whatever, all that stuff helps. Sharing the videos on your social media helps. All that stuff, there's a great free ways to support the show. And then I've always said this, I have a Pandora channel with both of my comedy albums, A Palm Strike Dance Party and Comedians Got a Boo Boo, and other comedians, and it's free on Pandora. And when you listen to the Graham Elwood channel on Pandora, I get residual income every time you play it. And then there's patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com. So all those things help. Thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it, brother. Europe will fail, I think, over 6 months for the Chinese stockholders. No relaxation, no culture, no people that connect with other only. Yeah. Crazy. Graham, no fan of Van Damme. I like Van Damme, but some of his movies are so cheesy. Lionheart. So my 10 worst in the martial arts category, I should have sort of prefaced it. It's sort of like some of them are guilty pleasures. They're so bad, they're so great. Like there's like Lionheart is amazing. Van Damme always did the splits. I mean, Jim Kata, you gotta watch Jim Kata. It's spelled Gymkata. He literally, there's a pommel horse in the middle of this prison that he just happens to be. Miami Connection is another brilliantly bad martial art movie. Like brilliantly bad. Like it's so bad, it's amazing. Like watch Miami Connection. It'll change your life. Let's see the Graham Comedy Hour. I subscribe to YouTube and watch all of Graham's vids and share sometimes. Thank you, Celeste. I appreciate that. Bloodsport is a good film. But yeah, you're right. Bloodsport's awesome. It's based on a true story. Van Damme is cool in real life. He's funny as shit. I'm sure he's a cool guy. I would love to have his career. Like, here's the other thing. If somebody like came to me and said, Graham, we want you to make a bunch of low-budget, cheesy martial art movies, I'd be like, done. You know, I would make those in a heartbeat. I would love, one of my long-term goals with this is to build this channel up to where I've got 1 million subscribers. And I want to do long form. I want to do movie and scripted content. I would do a martial arts comedy movie. I would just love that. I know a bunch of great martial artists and fight choreographers, and it would be so fun to do. It would be so fun to do. No Beverly Hills Ninja. Have I seen Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai? Absolutely. Seven Samurai is amazing. Yojimbo, Rashomon. Kurosawa is like, he's brilliant. Jackie Chan was in Cannonball Run too. What about the Wick movies? The John Wick movies have great martial arts in them, man. They have great choreographed martial arts. They really do. No Remo Williams. Oh, goodness. I don't know how to can beans. All right, folks. Let's pick a song and let's wrap it up. I gotta go. I got a bunch of videos to post. It's a good live stream, folks. Tech was broken. Boom. What do you want me to sing? Pompeo in trouble. Oh, Young Turks. We don't need an MSNBC online. Do your own thing. Do the thing that made you what you were. Don't get it. Don't get it. Fists of Fury. Walker, Texas Ranger. I love Jim Cotta because I was a kid and loved the idea of mixing my Kung Fu with gymnastics, but it was tough. That's so fantastic. Kung Fu fighting. Oh, Kung Fu fighting. You got it. As William Shatner. Kung Fu fighting. Kung Fu fighting karaoke with lyrics.
So Lit Mobile just sent me this solar wireless battery pack. I'm excited. Let's see what's inside. I really like the build.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Spock. Everybody was Kung Fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning or a phaser. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they fought with expert timing. They were funky Chinamen from funky Chinatown. They were chopping them up. They were chopping them down. It's an ancient Chinese art, and everybody knew their part. From a feigning to a flip and kicking from the hip, everybody was Kung Fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as a torpedo. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. And they fought with expert timing. There was Funky Billy Chin and Little Sammy Chung. He said, "Here comes the big boss. Let's get it on." He took a bow and made a stand, started swaying with the hand. Second motion made him skip, and now we're on a brand new trip. Everybody was kung fu fighting through a man's body. Live long and prosper. What's up, folks?
So Lit Mobile just sent me this solar wireless battery pack. I'm excited. Let's see what's inside.
Let's see what's inside.
I really like the build.
I really like the build. I like the solar battery pack. Thank you so much, folks, for supporting the show. I'm glad you love it. Thank you guys. Have fun. This is way better than Mike's live phone calls. Mike's great. I love Mike. Can't get this content anywhere else. Anybody else talk politics and then do Shatner karaoke? There's only one place to get that, folks. That's here at the Vigilante. Crazy UFC Conspiracy Bill. Superfoot Wallace, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for everybody who did the super chats and liked and shared and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Again, support the show, grahamelwood.com. I also have a PayPal button. I have a P.O. box. Some people just feel more comfortable sending cash or cashier's checks or whatever you feel comfortable doing. I always appreciate it. Patreon.com/grahamelwood, rockfin.com/grahamelwood. Next time I will be streaming will be Sunday, 3 o'clock Pacific time. Follow me on Twitter at Graham Elwood and at Graham Elwood on Instagram. I always announce when I'm going to go live, and hit the bell notification button. Hey, Graham, great way to wake up. I'm glad you woke up, Annabelle. How's everything down under? Thank you so much, folks. I'm going to take a couple days off. I'll be back on Sunday. And of course, I'll be dropping videos today, tomorrow, Saturday from all the clips from all the streams we've been doing, like those two, Lee Camp, all that stuff. It'll be dropping if you missed some of it. I'm glad you had fun. Thank you for supporting the show. Shave your knuckles for justice, because you are making Gotham great again. Everybody was kung fu fighting.